Tuna isn't just a sandwich filling. It's a global business that supports entire American communities. For decades, U.S. fleets have hauled in millions of pounds, fueling our diets and economy. But now, the tides are shifting. Two recent events have rocked the industry: Canada's sudden ban on U.S. tuna, and a massive new European trade deal with Asia. These moves threaten American jobs, communities, and the food on your table. The future of the U.S. tuna industry is at stake. The story of American tuna is entering uncharted waters. Canada's ban on U.S. tuna imports landed like a gut punch. On September 1, 2025, Canadian authorities abruptly blocked all American tuna, citing concerns over new U.S. processing techniques. The issue? A recently adopted preservation method using a novel gas mixture to keep tuna fresh. While U.S. regulators approved it, Canada claimed the FDA didn't share enough data, fueling distrust. Without independent review, Canadian officials refused to risk their consumers' health. The timing couldn't have been worse. U.S. fleets were at peak catch, warehouses were full, and trucks were literally turned back at the border. American companies scrambled to find storage or new buyers for highly perishable tuna. The sudden ban left no time to adjust, causing immediate financial losses. Some in the U.S. call it protectionism, suspecting Canada wants to boost its own industry. Regardless of motive, a critical export market slammed shut overnight. The ban severed a long-standing trade relationship and plunged the U.S. tuna industry into crisis. This is a stark example of how food safety standards can become trade barriers. The fallout is real lost sales, wasted product, and a scramble for solutions. The U.S. tuna industry now faces a crisis with no easy fix. The question, how will it recover? The answer will shape the future of American seafood exports. The stakes have never been higher. The Canadian ban's impact hit hardest on American fishers and factory workers. With Canada out, prices for tuna plummeted. Some processors even stopped buying fish. Fishing families, already burdened by debt, now face devastating income loss. Processing plants in coastal towns are laying off workers and shutting down lines. Entire communities are reeling as paychecks vanish and local economies falter. The glut of unsold tuna is flooding the U.S. market, causing logistical headaches and wasted inventory. Supermarkets struggle to handle products labeled for Canada, while long-term supply chains are threatened. If processors close, the U.S. could become more reliant on foreign tuna, risking higher prices and less control. The ripple effects are severe: lost jobs, shrinking tax bases, and struggling local businesses. The ban isn't just a trade dispute, it's a direct threat to the livelihoods of thousands. The interconnected seafood industry means trouble in one link shakes the whole chain. For many, the future is uncertain. The Canadian ban has exposed just how vulnerable American fishing communities are. The road to recovery will be long and difficult. As the U.S. reeled from Canada's ban, Europe struck a game-changing deal. The EU finalized a $12 billion trade agreement with Southeast Asian nations, Vietnam, the Philippines, and Thailand, centered on tuna. The deal slashes tariffs and opens Europe's vast market to Asian tuna, making it cheaper and more accessible. For Southeast Asia, it's a windfall: access to 450 million European consumers and incentives to expand their fleets and factories. For Europe, it means a steady, affordable tuna supply and less reliance on any single region. The agreement phases out tariffs over 2 years, making Asian tuna far more competitive. Environmental rules are included, but enforcement remains a question mark. The $12 billion figure covers not just tuna, but investments in infrastructure and jobs. Europe is building a direct supply chain from Asian waters to its supermarket shelves. This realignment is set to shift the balance of power in the global tuna market. The U.S. now faces a formidable new competitor. The global tuna landscape has changed overnight. American exporters must adapt or risk being left behind. The EU-Asia deal is a blow to U.S. tuna exporters. While America's share of the European market was small, it included premium products, now threatened by cheaper Asian imports. European buyers will flock to lower prices, pushing U.S. tuna to the margins. The deal also drives up global demand. raising raw fish prices in the Pacific, where U.S. fleets compete. American processors now face higher costs and stiffer competition from EU-backed Asian companies. The U.S. industry is squeezed, losing Canada, losing Europe, and fighting for survival at home. Asian producers benefit from lower labor costs and looser regulations, advantages amplified by the EU deal. U.S. companies, with higher wages and stricter standards, struggle to compete on price. The domestic market is saturated, and oversupply is driving prices down. American tuna businesses are trapped, export markets are gone, and selling at home means losses. The industry faces a downward spiral. Without new strategies, survival is at risk. The global playing field has tilted, and the U.S. is on the losing side. The U.S. tuna industry must act fast to survive. First, it needs to find new markets. Latin America, the Middle East, anywhere demand is rising. This means investing in marketing, logistics, and adapting products to local tastes. Innovation is key. Focus on premium, value-added products like ready-to-eat meals or gourmet cans. Emphasize quality, sustainability, and American origin to stand out. Industry collaboration is crucial. Unite under a product of USA brand and pool resources for global campaigns. Work together on research, sustainable fishing, and new processing methods. Sustainability must be a top priority. Consumers want ethical, traceable seafood. Promote pole-and-line fishing and bycatch reduction to appeal to eco-conscious buyers. Differentiate American tuna from less transparent competitors. The industry's future depends on agility, innovation, and unity. The time to adapt is now. The alternative is decline. The U.S. tuna industry can't face this crisis alone. The federal government must step in, starting with urgent talks to resolve the Canadian ban. Share FDA data, invite Canadian inspectors, and find a compromise to reopen trade. Beyond Canada, the U.S. needs to negotiate new trade deals to secure access for American tuna. Without proactive policy, America risks being locked out as other nations form powerful blocs. Domestically, direct aid is needed. Loans for fishers, grants for processors, and retraining for laid-off workers. Support for Made in the USA branding can help build consumer trust and loyalty. Government and industry must work together to compete globally. Other countries back their seafood industries. America must do the same. The government's role: defender, advocate, and champion for U.S. tuna. Without action, coastal economies will suffer. With it, the industry has a fighting chance. The stakes are national, not just local. The tuna crisis is coming to your grocery store. Short term, you might see sales on canned tuna as companies clear excess stock. But these low prices are temporary, born from industry pain, not prosperity. If U.S. processors close, American-caught tuna could disappear from shelves, replaced by imports. Imported tuna may be cheaper, but could raise concerns about sustainability and labor practices. Fewer choices and more reliance on foreign supply could mean higher, more volatile prices in the long run. The stable, affordable can of tuna may soon be a memory. Consumers have power. Look for caught and canned in the USA labels. Supporting American tuna means supporting jobs and sustainable practices. Your choices send a message to retailers and producers. A collective push for U.S. products can help the industry survive. The future of American tuna is in your hands too. Every purchase counts. The American tuna industry stands at a crossroads. The Canadian ban and the EU-Asia deal have upended the market, threatening jobs and communities. Fishers and factory workers face layoffs and uncertainty. The pain is real, but so is the opportunity for change. The industry must innovate, find new markets, and double down on sustainability. The government must fight for fair trade and support its workers. Consumers must choose to support American tuna. The next steps will decide the industry's fate. Will it adapt and thrive, or be swept away by global competition? The challenge is immense, but so is the resolve of those who depend on tuna. The story isn't over. The future is still up for grabs.